to this edition of the Ultimate Combat Experience Knockout Edition. Now, the last 5 weeks, we've been showing you a bunch of guys that you recognize, some of the bigger names in UCE, knocking people out or getting knocked out. Well, tonight we're going to show some of the better knockouts, but these are from some guys you may not recognize. A lot of these guys are very first-timers, and at the end of the show, we got a 6'6" giant doing his thing. It's the Ultimate Combat Experience KO Edition coming right at you. Things started with a bunch of street fighters. They're going to get in here, and it's not the prettiest MMA you've ever seen, but some people do go out. Check it out. Did you just throw a gang sign, Johnny?
I just threw West Side, buddy.
Wow. Hey, you mentioned Rocky Gallegos looks a little bit like Arnold. What part of his body looks like Arnold?
Well, I meant Tom Arnold, Mike. Tom Arnold.
Okay, well, that solves it for me. Hey, he's got the body of Tom Arnold, and he's a 5'9", 220 pounds. Goes by the nickname of Top Rock, and I don't know if I want to make this guy mad, though, Johnny.
I don't think so either, man. He talks like Eminem, and he's all down with that and this and that.
I don't know if he knows he's got a panty on his head.
And that panty's on there tight, Mike, because when he takes it off, look at the line across that kid's forehead.
Goodness gracious.
I hate jail. I just feel the ring to feel the fight and then go with that. I mean, I ain't saying I'm going to win, but I'm going to give it what I got.
Okie dokie.
He doesn't like jail. What do you say?
He's not a man of very many words, but it looks to me like Larry the Demon Kramashi, he may share those sentiments.
He may share those. I said it looked like he'd been in a fight or two before, and as you'll see that he is just a street fighter. He has no formal training, and sometimes you get the cream of the crop, and sometimes you get the guys that are just off the street.
Sometimes you get the crop of the cream. He's 6'3" and 215 pounds. Pretty big kid with the white beater and stuff.
Well, I saw it on TV, and I've been doing this my whole life. I want to see what I can do. I'm just a stand-up fighter. I like to go toes, just like to throw them and see who's standing the last. Well, I don't get knocked down easy, and if he's a street fighter, then he's going to be in for it.
Hi, Dan, Johnny, Richie. We're going to get this thing going here, and kind of guys that seem to have similar backgrounds.
Sure, street fighters, really not have any much ring experience or any martial arts background, period. They just want to get in here and slug it out, and that's what we like to see.
But yeah, for lack of a better term, a couple of knuckleheads that just want to get in here and do it, and I would kind of liken a lot of our fighters to that, and maybe even myself. Wow, Larry Kremeshi's throwing some big bombs to start this thing off with his... Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
Say goodnight, Larry.
I think he says he's okay.
Oh,
he's as stiff as a board. He looks like
doing
Lurch.
the funky chicken, Johnny Richie, and this fight is over.
I thought he said he didn't get knocked down easy. Larry, what happened? Oh, man.
Well, I guess easy is a subjective term, and, you see here in your Crush Combat Cam, brought to you by Pets and Such, where Larry Kremeshi took a big right hand to the chin, and say goodnight, Larry.
Oh, well, there's your winner. Top Rock is your winner. Nice job, Tom Arnold. You got the hair and everything. You better go, buddy.
What's up? Speaking of peasants, Junior Salu is back.
Actually, my last couple fights, it hasn't been good. It's been lazy fights, just not been very smart fights. I've lost to myself, but I've done some adjustments, and I'm gonna let my hands go.
He's a big, strong guy, but I think I could take him. I've seen him tap out before to stuff I didn't think was that tough to get out of. He's a swinger. Just block it, get in, take him out.
Well, as Mike Blokovic's going to find out here in just a minute, it looks a lot easier on TV.
Yeah, it does, definitely does. And you're right, Junior Salu is a swinger, because he'll get in here and he'll knock you right down as he did right here. Pound, 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 and the fight's pretty much over.
Swinger, Johnny? You and
swinger.
Alexis been hanging out with this guy? What's going on?
No.
The #1 stunner is back, and we've never seen him let his hands go like that, but he looked good tonight. Junior Salu went on to make a little noise in the Ultimate Combat. We ain't seen him in a little while, but now this next segment features a guy that sadly passed away 2 weeks after this match, and I want to give a little heartfelt shout out to his family, Justin Cunningham and Scott Speakman. Well, Johnny Ritchie, this lightweight division continues to get more and more stacked. We've got a street fighter here and a kid who says he wrestled a little bit in college, but let's talk first about Justin Leatherface Cunningham. He said until recently his fight training was really done at concerts and on the street.
Yeah, Mike, I don't know how much fun that sounds to be going to the concert to be getting beat up. You're absolutely right, but I tell you, this kid does say he's tough. He's training with Steven Sharp and some of the guys over at your gym.
Hey, he's 5'10", 150 pounds, and he has been getting up there and training really hard the last few weeks, and he's really feels like he's prepared for this fight going into it.
Just kind of got into it over the last couple of years. I've always been a fighter, just kind of on and off the streets, concerts, shows. Just kind of get into it, and then this is legal, so can't get in trouble that much. Working with Steve Sharp right now and a couple other guys like Travis Paxton, and sometimes a couple other people come in, so it does really well to help out and get some major people in there. I think Scott doesn't want it. Doesn't seem like he wants it enough. I don't know him, but he doesn't want it.
Is that a power that the straight edge possess, that they can tell you don't want it if they don't even know you?
They don't even know you, but I tell you what, they do have some weird hairdos, Mike.
Well, and they seem to like that camouflage, but Scott Speakman, he's told us that he actually wrestled a little bit in college, and now he's training with the boys down at Orem High School. And we've seen guys in the past do very well with that type of regimen because those high school wrestlers get them in shape, if nothing else.
Absolutely. This kid's also a brainiac, Mike. He's a smart kid. He's a pilot. He flies airplanes for a living.
Well, probably too smart to be in this show.
I just saw it on a Sunday night. Never been in a fight, so I figured I'd see how I could do. I came off a wrestling season last semester. That's about it. Worked out a couple times with some guys at Orem High. I'm not good at losing. Usually win everything I do, so I'm going to try and win.
Well, there you go. He's coming in with the right attitude, Johnny Ritchie, and it looks to me like this is going to be a pretty good matchup. You got a kid that's training with Steve Sharp and a kid that looks like he's in pretty darn good shape and had a little bit of college wrestling background. A pretty good matchup to get things going.
Well, what's going to be Cunningham's strategy, Mike? What do you think he's going to have to do to not get beat by this Speakman kid?
Well, I think Cunningham is going to have to follow the blueprint that has been set for him by the Razor and Wrecker and that crew. Is just come out and bomb heavy, which he didn't do right off the bat. And Speakman, if he's got a bit of a wrestling background, particularly college wrestling, you know he's going to be good at takedowns, which he was right there. Got a nice takedown, a big body slam to emphasize it.
It looks like he kind of smashed his head on the mat too, Mike. It was ducked underneath there. And we talked about it again, the proper way to throw a guillotine, but he didn't do it. Old Cunningham didn't throw it on right, and he got slammed to the mat.
Well, and looks like Speakman's kind of comfortable on the ground there. You know, he's in, Cunningham's guard. And Cunningham squeezing real tight there, holding Speakman real tight, not letting him get up and throw any bombs.
And Mike, you talked about that before. When you're on the bottom like that and you just squeeze and hold, eventually you're going to get tired and you're going to get punched.
Well, eventually, but interesting. You know, these are guys that are right at that level, Johnny, that they're kind of unorthodox still, and sometimes little moves that wouldn't work against a good kid do work, and sometimes they don't, and a lot of flipping and flopping going on, but they're going to get started back up on their feet here.
Well, yeah, that was a great way to go. Speakman pushed him right out of the ring, but like you said here, Cunningham's dropping bombs, kind of like what you said he's going to have to do to win this fight against Speakman.
Yeah, but he's got to be more busy. He just throws one or two punches, and he's got to put some nice combinations together. Oh, my goodness. Well, that was a nice combination right there that Speakman threw, and Mr. Cunningham is going to take a little nap here.
Well, maybe Cunningham thought he was going to wrestle him, but he ended up knocking him out, KO City.
Well, yeah, I think Justin Cunningham right now probably isn't going to remember anything that's going on right now. The doctor, Mark Kachimani's over there checking him out, check his eyes out, make sure he's okay. But you see here in your Crush Combat Camp, brought to you by Mountain High Motorsports. That was the big slam early on, and then the push out of bounds. And you're going to see here in just a minute a big knockout, a big right hand uppercut coming up from underneath and sending Cunningham to the canvas.
Oh, there it was. Yeah, he's out, Mike. There's no mistake in that one. He is definitely out for the count.
Well, get things started with a nice knockout right there. Scott Superman Speakman's going to get things started in this round with some pretty good stuff.
Congratulations, Scott, man. Way to go.
Once again, you hate to see Justin Cunningham go down like that. And, once again, sadly, 2 weeks after that fight, he passed away. And once again, I want to give a little shout out to his family and tell him how much he meant to the UCE family. He was at the show all the time, and he will be sorely missed. When we come back, though, kickboxing knockouts. We'll be back in just a minute. Welcome back to the Ultimate Combat Experience. As promised, we're going to move into the kickboxing mode once again. And these are guys that you probably haven't heard of before, except one of these guys had one of the best names in the game, Jomama. Check it out.
We always have a little fun with the guys in the corner, don't we?
Yeah, that Rebel Squad, though, you know what? Anytime I need a fighter, I need to make one phone call. I call the Rebel Squad. They're Johnny on the spot. They're ready to go, man. I give them all the credit in the world. And they're game fighters. They're not the best fighters we've seen, but they're game fighters.
The only thing we need to do now is get them a sponsorship so they can get a little better uniforms to come into the ring with.
You know, I expect to see good things out of them in the future here. They train hard and they fight hard. So one of the things you can't teach is heart, and these guys have a bunch of that. Just get them a little more ring time.
Boy,
they're working on getting that.
Kelson said he wasn't afraid of that reach advantage that he gave up to this opponent, and he's already landed 4 or 5 shots to the chin here.
Yeah, you know, we didn't see Jason Shultz's head snap back like that last week, but boy, Kelson's really landed some big shots already.
Wow.
Knocks him on the canvas.
There's a big leg kick that takes his legs out from under him, and Shultz is quick to stand up and let Ethan know he's okay, but he's still going to get that standing 8.
Looks like that headgear might be a little small for old Jason Shultz there.
Wow, he is really taking some punishment early on here, and Kelson doesn't even look like he's breathing hard.
Kelson never does show too much emotion there.
He is pretty stoic with that face. Well, he takes one to the chin there from Shultz. And you're right, that headgear is causing Red Devil a little problem here. He must be having a hard time fitting over those horns.
Must be getting it over that goatee there.
Kelson again makes good contact over the top with the right hand. And Shultz looks like he's in a good defensive posture, but not stopping many of those fists from getting through just like that right hand.
He has no head movement and doesn't block at all. He's got his hands up, but he doesn't use them to block.
Kelson again throwing right hand, left hand.
And then counter punching by Shultz. Is a nice little flurry here by both gentlemen.
Yeah, this is a fun match to watch, but again, it's Shultz who finds his way down on the mat, and Ethan, it looks like, is not going to rule this one a stumble. He's going to give him another 8.
Well, you could have called that either way. He did go down as a result of the punch. It's a good call by Ethan Andrews. Fine referee and a fine fighter himself.
And Kelson showing some pretty good combinations, kicking low. Getting hands over the top.
Action-packed first round there, Tim.
That was fun to watch. A little bit of blood there coming out of the nose of Kelson. I don't think it's too much damage.
Now here's your Mountain Eye Motorsports combat cam, and some big shots early on in the round there. Sent Jason Shultz back across the ring.
Kelson just getting a lot of those hands through there, as we said, and that's the second time that the Red Devil finds his way down on one knee.
And I'm not sure that those are such accurate punches, or if Jason Shultz just doesn't move his head.
You know, it appears he got rocked a little bit that first time he went down, and he's never really shown the stability on his feet that he had starting this fight. So maybe he got dinged a little bit.
Yeah, it's a good observation, Tim. I don't think he really has come back from that first knockdown.
Comes back out here, but boy, he just leaves himself wide open for right hand, left hand combinations from Kelson, who has no stop in him. He's going to chase him all the way into the other corner.
Hey, in this 18-by-18 ring, there's nowhere to run and nowhere to hide, boy.
Red Devil doing nothing here but backing up and continuing to take blows from Matt Kelson.
And it looks like Matt Kelson's representing the Rebel Squad, might be taking him to their first victory.
Another combination lands.
Kelson's doing a nice job just staying patient, not wasting any energy, and really surgically taking this kid apart.
Well, he doesn't have too much to fear, it doesn't look like at this point. This is a completely different Jason Shultz than we saw the last time.
Well, it certainly was, but I would venture to say Matt Kelson's probably a little bit tougher opponent. Nice left hand sends old Jason Shultz to the canvas once again.
And I'm not sure he knows where he's at this moment. We'll see. Ethan's going to give him a close look in the corner. Matt Kelson doesn't look like he's the one leading this fight when you look at a close-up shot.
He always bleeds, though. He tapped that nose, and he's bleeding.
We got a bleeder over in this corner. Not sure what's going on here. He's being sent back to...
He's got his wraps coming off on his ankle there, and he's going to have him get those fixed up.
In the meantime, what's going on with Jason Shultz?
Well, you know, unfortunately for Kelson, Jason's getting a little extra recovery time here.
Yeah, because he really had him in a bad way.
Well, there's an equipment timeout. They should have stopped the clock. Apparently, they didn't do that, so...
They'll restart here with about 9 seconds, 8 seconds left in this second round, and it doesn't stop Kelson at all, who comes right back. More of a push than a punch there, and Ethan recognizes that.
Yeah, it was a good no call there. It was a push.
Clearly, I would say at the end of the second round that Matt Kelson has won himself at least the first and second, don't you think?
Very decisively. You got to have at least 10-8 rounds with those knockdowns. Mountain High Motorsports combat cam here shows the devastating punches that Matt Kelson's been able to land, and then Jason Shultz landed a couple of his own.
Jason's got a tough decision to make coming out here in the third, because it looks like at this point the only way he can defeat Matt Kelson is with a knockout, but that's going to have to will put him in a position to take a little more risk as well.
That's a nice shot there, isn't it? You want to see it up close and personal? They got you right there.
Well, there's another shot of what's going on in the corner there. Get that cleaned up hopefully here in a little bit.
I could have done without it.
Third and final round, and we're 2 minutes away from sending this one to a judge's scorecard if it happens to go that far. But if Kelson can land a couple of more punches to the head, this one could be over sooner than that.
Well, Schultz steps right into that left hand, and then Schultz knocks Kelson down himself with a nice little front push kick.
Matt quickly raises his hands to let Ethan know he's okay, no problem. First time he's seen his butt on the mat, though, in this fight.
Well, maybe Jason Schultz does have a chance coming back here.
Well, he walks right into another right hand from Matt Kelson. By the time you say that, he gives up his chin one more time, and wow!
Maybe not.
That looks like that could end it. You can see Schultz getting up off the mat, shaking his head.
That was a big punch.
I wouldn't want to kiss you even without that blood, buddy.
It's a face only mama would kiss right there, man.
Well, looks like Schultz is going to come back out here.
This Schultz kid doesn't stop, does he?
Man. You saw him trying to shake it off as he made his way up off the mat, but
he takes a lick and keeps on ticking there.
He comes in to throw that right leg, and he just drops his left hand, and Kelson doing a good job of seeing that opportunity and seizing it.
Well, you can see that inexperience he talked about in the pre-fight interview there. He brings those hands out every time he punches. But he's a tough kid, man. You can't take anything away from him. He's got a lot of heart.
He walked right into another right hand. The question now is, can Jason Schultz last this fight out for another 20 seconds? It looks like he's going to try.
If he does, he's scored a victory in my book. He's taken quite a punishment here tonight. But if he finishes this fight up, he can go home with his head up high.
He starts to raise that right leg, and his hands drop, and he puts himself right in another bad position for Kelson.
Yeah, that'll do it right there.
You're right, though, Mike. You got to hand it to this Red Devil. He to take that punishment early on and then fight his way all the way through the second and third rounds to go to the final bell is amazing.
Yeah, that was a nice job. You can see here in your Mountain High Motorsports combat cam how, boy, Jason Schultz took a couple right on the chin, you know. But I couldn't be happier for Matt Kelson. He's going to go home, bring the Rebel Squad their first victory and a championship victory, no less.
Rebel Squad's going to be awfully happy about this. I'm sure we'll see it when we finally make this announcement and get some post-fight interviews. Schultz covering up the nose, and look at there. Matt Kelson, the Roach, is your winner here tonight of this light heavyweight match. Yeah, we could probably really have some fun with his name, but he's too big for me to do that. So it's Jomama.
Yeah, when he told me his name, I even thought he was joking. He says he gets that a lot. He's a pretty tough little kid. He's a street fighter. Says he hails out of the Glendale area, and he's just used to kicking butt on the street, and he wants to get in the ring and do it legally.
Well, this is one of those guys I call compact. 5'7" inches, 195 pounds. He is like a tank, and his opponent tonight, a little better shape, Travis Buxton.
We've seen Travis fight before. He actually, if you remember last round, had a tough loss to the eventual champion. But Travis is a sound fighter. He's a pretty solid kid. He recently came back from a mission and got into our tournament last round.
6'3", 185, and we're going to get things underway with round number one. This one's scheduled for 3 2-minute rounds. Is that the postman I see in there?
That is the postman refereeing.
All right. Adam Faulkner will be your referee, and Muhammad comes out throwing some big right and left hands. He's just wailing away there.
Nothing pretty about what he's throwing, but he's got a lot of power behind him. You can see that.
He dances pretty good for a big guy, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's doing a good job of avoiding those kicks that Travis is trying to set up and then counter-punching. So he's doing a pretty good job.
How long ago was it that Buxton came back from his mission? Do you know?
Oh, it had to have been within the last 6 months or so. He's still getting back in the groove of things, and he's just a solid kid.
Muhammad's going to get a warning here from Adam about holding the leg after the kick comes in from Buxton, and so that's twice that it's happened already.
He's having more success there instead of grabbing the leg, just throwing that punch over the top, and he landed a pretty big shot there.
Yeah, I was about to say, though, it's tough coming back off of an LDS mission. Boy, Buxton takes a good right hand there and goes down.
Mama's got a lot of power behind those punches. Again, nothing pretty watching him. He doesn't have any straight 1-2s, but he's got some pretty strong hooks. And it looks like Travis is done here.
Yeah, all you got to do is land one of those punches, and that was right in the middle of me saying that it's tough to come back from an LDS mission where every day you're told to proselytize and, be nice to everyone and then step into the ring and have the eye of the tiger.
Well, if you remember, Travis actually broke his nose last round. It looks like that's probably what he's injured again. So he probably needs to take a little time and let that thing heal up. But look at Jomama. He's happy with the victory.
He's going to wear himself out here. There he is, though. The winner, your winner of this second round, the first kickboxing match of the night, Jomama. Big right hand ends it all.
That does it for kickboxing. When we come back, we got the little teeny tiny guys. They can still hit and knock out some people. We'll be back in just a minute. Welcome back to the Ultimate Combat Experience. We're moving right into the little guys in our special KO edition here. And little guys, they can still knock each other out, as James McFadden and Hector Fonseca found out. Well, we're going to stick with the little guys, James McFadden and Hector Fonseca, a couple of guys that don't have a lot of experience in the ring, Johnny Ritchie, but James McFadden's got a lot of experience in the tanning booth.
He does, the tanning booth. He works at the mall, Mike. He works at the mall selling bikinis. Whether he's meeting the ladies or stepping inside the ring.
Does he work at Hot Dog on a Stick? I think I saw him. He's 5'5", 135 pounds, and he's just about as big as a hot dog on a stick.
Mike, you're terrible. These guys love me, and they hate you, and I don't know why.
It's because I'm good looking. Don't hate me because I'm beautiful.
Well, Ryan got me with a good chokehold. I should have been smarter because I'm such a big-time wrestler. First thing I did was turn on my back. Gave him my back. Now I know not to do that, and I'm a lot more prepared this time. Been training a little bit with some of my friends. Throw down, get hit, learn how to take hits. Just kind of throw down, do a little grappling, play fight. Other stuff, keep in shape, just push-ups, run, play DDR. It's fun, good cardio, man. I'm 10 times more confident than the last fight, and I am absolutely prepared. Hector may look tough, but I know I can take him.
Johnny, did he just say he keeps in shape by play fighting?
He play fights and does push-ups. So,
me and my brother used to sword fight over the toilet, and we got in great shape doing it.
Oh, absolutely. I bet you, or at least, I bet you did, Mike. I bet you did.
Oh, Hector Fonseca is 5'6", 145 pounds, and I don't think he's here to play fight.
I don't think he's here to play fight either. This guy does look a little mean. It looks like he might have had a few fights under his belt.
He worked at the other end of the mall.
I've been into fighting since I was about 15 years old, a little over 10 years now. Basically, I've seen a lot on television that I liked. I caught this on cable not too long ago. I enjoyed it. I wanted to participate really bad. I'm extremely versatile. I use many different styles, but for the most part, I'll stick to boxing. I'm a headhunter. I can tell by the look on him he's experienced, but I'm pretty experienced too, just not in the ring. Got a lot of street matches that I can't really talk about, but they went pretty well for me, so we'll see what happens in the ring tonight.
I can tell by the look of that guy, he can sword fight with the best of them.
How can that guy see anything through those eyebrows?
Oh, Johnny, you had to go there, see, and I wasn't going to say anything about him.
Well, I love it. It's okay. My eyebrows are just as bushy, so Hector Fonseca, don't get mad at me.
My only concern was James McFadden was going to get lost in him, not be able to find his way out.
Oh, man, Mike, we are terrible. James McFadden comes out throwing some wild, crazy punches. For a wrestler, he should just shoot in on this guy and take him to the ground.
Well, then he tripped over the logo on the mat there and found himself on his back. Oh, then he's got a headlock here on, I'm not really sure how to call this.
Oh, a little dump slam. Maybe he does have a little bit of wrestling experience.
A little topsy-turvy, a little here and there, to and fro, up and down. And finally, they're not settling down yet. They're still hopping up and down.
They're hopping up and down. They're getting ready for some exciting shots being taken here. And you got the Sweet Suntan versus Pale Ghost.
The Sweet Suntan versus the Pale Ghost. Classic.
Getting in here, mixing it up.
Yeah,
little wild kicks, and I don't know if that was a Karate Kid move that he learned, and a little swing punch. Play fighting.
That was a little play fighting technique. I recognize that.
Oh, we clown you because we love you guys. Don't get upset.
I see our good friends, the Firstes, Dan First and the lovely Mrs. First in the front row there. Big supporters of the Ultimate Combat. Always sit in front row. I love those guys.
Every single time I see those guys, they're always sitting in the front with the little body shots landing right there.
You know, actually, you're starting to see them settle down, and you are seeing a few good things come out of these guys. Initially, maybe, you know, the rings and the lights and all that stuff, maybe they're a little bit
discombobulated. But McFadden talked about he's a little bit more confident last time, and I think that shows, honestly, from last time when he fought Gubler, he was just way overclassed, and Gubler really took it to him.
Yeah, he did. It looked like Fonseca landed a couple of big shots there that might have had an effect on McFadden, made him want to shoot in here and see if he can't get a takedown. But Fonseca's having none of that.
I think Fonseca's not. I mean, he doesn't even seem like he's really, you know, trying to defend a takedown. He's just punching away.
Well, he said he's going to try to box this thing out. He said he's very versatile, can fight on the ground or on his feet, but he prefers to box. And boy, he sure prefers to bounce around. That's for sure.
Both these guys are like little jumping beans.
They are. You know, I gotta say that Fonseca does have some nice straight punches here. He's landed quite a few of them here, and he's starting to pepper this kid out. Well, good night, James.
Wow.
See you at the hot dog stand.
Yes. Yeah, Zooks.
Oh, wow, and Fonseca's happy about that win. That's a big victory there. Feels pretty good about it. I'm not really sure what we're going to talk about here in your Crush Combat Cam, brought to you by Rocky Mountain Jeep Chrysler. That was about a 3.2. And that upsy, downsy, flipsy move there, I'm not really sure what it's called.
And right here, it kind of continues with a little bit. And is this the shot that gets him? Where's the shot that knocks him out? Well, that'll do it.
We've seen a couple of pretty good knockouts tonight, John and Richie. That's definitely, it's going to be tough to narrow down the hit of the week here, but Hector Fresca Fonseca is going to move on. Congratulations.
You're moving on, buddy.
The play fighting champion of the Ultimate Combat Experience, Hector Fonseca. See you, Gadzooks. James McFadden taking a little nappy poo there. We're going to move on to one of our finals matches, though. Danbury and Craig Ross, these guys, where we were expecting a big thing of it, we got a big knockout.
All right, Simon Danbury, tell the people at home, you're stepping in the cage tomorrow for the finals. Tell them, what have you done to prepare for this fight, and how do you think it's going to go tomorrow night?
I've been training a lot down here, trained a little bit in Salt Lake. I think it's going to go good. I say we just step in here and start banging and see which one of us wakes up with a flashlight in our eyes.
Well, I think he's going to be the one with the flashlight in his eyes. I've been training pretty hard. I'm an aggressive fighter. I bring it. I've watched some of his stuff. I feel like we fight the same. We have the same style. We both bring it. We both fight hard. It will be exciting, that's for sure.
All right, folks, let's give both these guys a round of applause.
Both these guys are very exciting fighters, Johnny Ritchie. They're both very aggressive fighters. Both have pretty good stand-up, really good wrestlers. I think Danbury has a little bit of an advantage in the experience area, though.
Oh, yeah, Mike. Danbury step up and fight for us anytime we need to. And, in fact, you talked a little bit about it. He'll fight even if we don't want him to. He's lining up ready to rock and roll.
He is phone harassing me on a daily basis, man. Hey, can you find me a fight? And the thing about Danbury is he'll fight 135, 145, 155. He doesn't care. Just get me fights.
Just get me inside that cage, Mike. Well, that's inspiration to a lot of these guys. Craig the Boss Ross, on the other hand, Mike, doesn't fight for us a whole lot, but when he does, he's always does a pretty good job for us.
He's actually a very good wrestler and done very, very well for himself. He does, like you mentioned, he doesn't really like to fight quite as frequently as Danbury. I think I like to see the fact that Danbury considers any fight an opportunity to learn.
Oh, yeah, Mike, and when he shows up, Mike, he's always ready to go. It's not like you have to give the kid a week. No, you could call him today and have him fight tomorrow, and he'll do it.
Yeah, oh, my goodness. You're not going to be calling Craig Ross tomorrow because he won't be answering. My goodness gracious. A huge right hand that just rocked the Dixie Center here in St. George, and Craig Ross is still wondering where he's at.
Talk about flashlight in the eyes.
Wow.
5 second, Mike. 5 seconds.
We've never had a knockout faster than that. In fact, a moment ago, you were saying Dave Barrington held the record. Well,
7.
It has just been broken. And not just broken, shattered. How do you ever beat 5 second knockout?
I don't know, but there it is.
Good
That's
night,
it.
Craig Ross. Oh my goodness.
And you see Dan was ready to rear up and sock him again, but then he realized, well, you know what?
That's sportsmanship there, folks. That's a good sportsman right there. He saw his opponent was out. I've seen a lot of guys jump on and wail on their opponent after they're out, and Danbury pulled himself up. Very impressive.
Dr. Marcacciamani in there going, buddy, you took a nap. The fight did start and the fight is over.
That's the best part when you're explaining to somebody what just happened that has just been unconscious. Danbury will tell you all about it later, Craig Ross, don't worry.
Oh, absolutely, man, that's for sure. Well, congratulations. Slamming Danbury, big knockout.
Big slam. Initially, we thought Danbury had the quickest knockout in UC history, but as last week we found out he wasn't even close. We had a couple 3-seconders last week. When we come back, we're going to check out the big guys, the heavyweights, coming up next. Welcome back to the Ultimate Combat Experience. As promised, we're going to see a couple of heavyweights get in here next. Brett Haraki and Micah Kofe, a couple of big Polynesian boys that have relocated right here to Utah. They're going to get in and slug it out. Johnny, I think we need to look into getting us a sponsorship by Jenny Craig or something. Some of these guys that have lost all this weight just for this show, and I have to think that some of them lose it just so they look better in the
Micah Kofe is that exact example. Mikey lost a lot of weight getting in here, training with Mushin, really working hard, and he said that was what's going to make the difference tonight.
The last time I stepped in the ring, I was against the killer. Hopefully he can come back, but yeah, I just been training up at Mushin, trying to get myself better. So yeah, that's about it. You'll probably see a lot of stand-up from me. Basically, I'm just gonna go the way he wants to go. He wants to go down, I'll go down. If he wants to stand up, I'll stand up. I'm gonna let him choose what he wants to do. What gives me the edge is I train with a lot of good people and everything, and I think hopefully I come out with a victory. So that's about it.
Well, pick your poison, says Micah Kofe. He says, I'll beat you any way you want me to beat you. You decide. But, you know, Brett Haraki, he doesn't even claim to be a refined, finished fighter at all. He says, hey, man, I'm a street fighter, and you'll see what goes down on the street right here in the cage tonight.
Last time I fought with Don Longmore at Delta Center. It was a pretty fair fight. Just didn't like the call that was made. Other than that, it was a good fight. My style is street fighting. I fight a lot on the street. That's it. I guess because it's more experience being in here. But just other than that, that's it.
Well, Johnny, yeah, well, it's definitely a man of few words. But Micah Kofe came from that street fighting mentality, and he came in and realized that, you know what, I need to do something a little more. Went up with the Mushin guys, and the Mushin guys are really big on Micah Kofe now. They say he is the real deal.
Well, Yamasaki said that he is like a sponge, Mike. He just absorbs whatever they teach him. He can learn it that day, and he'll use it the next day in practice and in training and in sparring. So that says a lot about this kid.
Well, that tells me the guy's going home and running it through in his mind and practicing and doing all those things. He's not just going to class and expecting to get good. Yeah. So, you know, very composed. This is definitely a different looking fighter than we saw the last time we saw him here in the cage.
He's patient. You know, it reminds me a lot about Mafu right now. He's just waiting, biding his time, throwing some jabs out there, feeling Brett Haraki out, and waiting for that big shot or that big kick or a big takedown.
Look at those long arms, though. When he let that jab go, man, he really can cover some space with that thing.
Yeah.
Look at that thing.
Yeah, and Brett Haraki might not be a good idea to be standing outside and by the cage right there, because he's going to back into a corner and unload with those long arms. Brett Haraki, I think you're going to have to get inside of this guy and take him to the ground.
Ooh, landed a nice right hand there. Didn't really land flush, but you could tell Brett Haraki felt that one. Sure. And as you mentioned, did a good thing of circling off the cage there so he didn't get pinned up against it.
You see Dave Silly says, watching real close, Mike. This fight right here is one of these fights that these big guys, you know, they could be crashing in the cage or they could go down to the ground. It could really end up either way, but Micah Kofe looks like he's determining where this fight's going to end up, Mike.
Well, again, as you mentioned, very patient approach initially here, and, you know, you like to see that. You know, fans like to see action, but I like to see these guys grow as fighters, and both these guys have learned enough that, hey, we're going to have to feel my opponent out here and see where I want to take this.
It's almost night and day since the last time either one of these two have stepped in.
Absolutely.
Brett Haraki, you know, fighting Don Longmore, really came out and wasted a lot of energy, and Don Longmore beat him 2 out of 3 rounds, I think, if I remember right, and got the decision in the Delta Center for the championship.
Johnny Ritchie, you can tell right here, Micah Kofe starting to gauge his distance, starting to feel right where he needs to be to land that right hand, because that jab's starting to land pretty flushly, pretty regularly now, and I look to see maybe a big right hand coming off in here in a minute.
And I think that's exactly what Mike, just setting that up, dropping a kick every now and then.
Nice power leg kicks.
He landed a shot right there. That jab set Brett back on his heels.
Oh, man. You know, though, we never would have seen kicks like that out of Micah Kofe in the past. And he really, they're nice kicks. He's throwing his hips behind it and everything. And those guys up at the Mushin Fighting Court really done a great job with this kid.
Take a look at him, Mike. You know, a kid like that, like, you know, when I was talking to Brian Yamasaki, this is a dream fighter for a guy like that. You know, you get a kid in here that's really willing to learn and step it up and train and fight hard, that wants to really take it to the big leagues.
Even I can make a guy look good like that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, man, Johnny Ritchie, that was a big right hand that we talked about, and he landed it, and Haraki took a little nap there.
Oh, man, he got rocked. Wow.
Did he ever? And that was one of those times where Dave Surrey said flying tackles were actually
warranted.
Oh, Rocky's still kind of wondering where he's at, but man, that was a big right hand.
Wow. Micah Kofe, you have come a long way, and you look good. That was a nice shot. Set it up with some kicks.
Oh, Johnny, that was the one thing that we said about Brett Haraki. He had a great chin. He was a very difficult kid to hurt, but man, that flurry right there did some damage.
3 or 4 big shots. Micah Kofe, you know, training over there at Mushin, man, nice job tonight.
Brand new Micah Kofe, looks good. I like watching the little guys slug it out, but there's nothing like a heavyweight knocking out another heavyweight. A lot of fun stuff. When we come back, we've got a 6'6" giant going to mix it up in the cage. The best KO of the night. Welcome back to the Ultimate Combat Experience. As promised, we've got a giant. However, this guy is in a small man's division. He's in the 170-pound weight class, going up against a kid that everybody feared, Pat Baker. Pat Baker brought Josh Burkman in to work his corner while he ran up against a buzzsaw. This is going to be great. Welterweights, check it out.
Just excited to get in and just fight. I've been working hard, really just fighting to get my clothing out there, brotherhoodwear.com and bhoodfightwear.com. Just ready to fight.
The gym I train out of is Fusion MMA in St. George, Utah, run by Aaron Reese. It's also known as Ace Karate, but Fusion MMA St. George.
I've been training with Josh Burkman, the People's Warrior, and we've been training at the B-Hood Fight Gym.
I would describe, my fighting style as chaotic, just a lot of everything. You know, obviously I'm really tall for the weight class, and people have to, watch out for my range. But my fighting style is unpredictable and chaotic.
Yeah, I'd like to thank my sponsors, bhoodfightwear.com, also brotherhoodwear.com. If you're looking for school clothing, check out brotherhoodwear.com. I also like to thank the People's Warrior, Josh Burkman, and I'll give a shout out there to dogemout.com.
There are some people out there I'd like to thank. Aaron Reese, number one. Everybody that trains with me down at Ace Karate, Fusion MMA. Gisele Alves de Lima, I would like to thank. Also RC and Dano. Those are the people I want to give a shout out to.
I'd like to say to my appointment, good luck. Anybody that gets into the ring, you have much respect for.
Just thanks for coming to fight me. The word was he was a street fighter. I didn't believe that for a minute. I guess he's a Josh Burkman trained, UFC trained fighter. So it's an honor to fight a UFC trained, guy. So I don't have anything to say to him except for thanks and good luck.
A lot of praying to get ready for the fight.
Well, a lot of build-up for this one, and I know a lot of people have been waiting for B-Hood Pat Baker to finally make his way into the cage. He is a street fighter. He's a kid that everybody in Tooele was just afraid of for years, and now finally over there working with the People's Warrior, Josh Burkman, as we heard several times in that interview. 5'8", 170 is B-Hood Pat Baker, and 5'8", just doesn't quite measure up to 6'4" now, does it, Sal?
This guy looks like a redwood tree, man. He's taller than the cage. Too tall, baby. Too tall.
It says 6'2". We measured him at the weigh-ins, and he's 6'4".
We ran out of measuring tape.
170 pounds, and yeah, I don't know how this kid weighs 170. He must be hollow inside.
Hey, look at the way the guys look at each other before this. He's like, I respect him, I respect that. Nicest guys in the world. Now they're all business, huh?
Now it's time for business, and once again, the legend Lonnie Foster, your referee. A drop of the hand, and here we go. It's your main event, folks. B-Hood Pat Baker finally making his way into the cage. And a Superman punch. That's what you got to do. We said you got to jump up like that to hit this big, tall guy.
Hey, they know their main event tonight. Looks like they're both going to be bringing their A game.
Very nice stuff. A little bit of a tentative start. I expected, well, once again, there goes that Superman punch. But
lost his cape.
Don't go to the well too many times here. But I guess that's the only way you're going to hit this kid in his head is you got to elevate somehow.
Who's the man with the slitty shorts, Mike?
Apparently that guy is. Big, nice combination here. Oh, man.
He Phantom punch.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
And Pat Baker is out cold.
Whoa.
Unbelievable. I did not see that coming in a million years, man. Christian Costa caught B-Hood Pat Baker with a shot, and he is out.
He's bleeding from some orifices on his face.
He's just unconscious. The doctor, Mark Cacciamani, in there giving him a little rub down, patting him down, getting him ready, waking him up. But you see right here, Christian Costa is pretty excited about that win, and I don't blame him, but, you know, you got a guy laying down there that could be potentially hurt. You got to kind of watch where you're, the way you celebrate, in my opinion. Right there, you see. I think Pat Baker just went to the well one too many times. He did that Superman punch 3 times, and then he just got stung. That one right there, and then that second one. And then look right there, boy, Costa hitting him a couple times after he was clearly out on the ground. Technically, that's what they say you're supposed to do. You're supposed to keep swinging until the referee stops you, but yeah, boy, man, you see right there, Pat Baker is unconscious, and
it was a flash knockout. It could happen to anybody.
What's saying here? Who did I? You know what, Sal? I've been there, man. If any of you have been in the fight game long enough, you've been there. You know exactly what Pat Baker's going through right now.
Yeah, it could happen to
He
anybody.
doesn't even know he's been knocked out. He didn't even know he had a fight, let alone been knocked out.
It was a nice punch right to the temple.
Josh Burkman giving him a little bit of love, and that's what he's going to need right now, just a little bit of love. But Christian, too tall Costa, my, oh my, what a stunning turn of events here in our main event, beating B-Hood Pat Baker in very impressive fashion.
Yes, indeed.
Pat Baker was a heavy favorite in that fight, and that just goes to show once again, you just never know what's going to happen, especially when the guy is 6'6" coming into the cage. Well, listen, next week we're going to keep knocking him down. We're still going back through the archives, and we've got tons more knockouts to bring to you next week. Thank you so much for joining us for this special edition of the Ultimate Combat Experience. We'll see you next week.